Bulma finally reveals that she always liked Goku, since the classic Dragon Ball, that's right, and I will show and explain all this to you. So, without further delay, let's go. Since the beginning of classic Dragon Ball, Bulma was presented as an intelligent, bold, and extremely curious young woman. Her first interaction with Goku was the starting point for a friendship that would become one of the most enduring and important in the entire franchise. In that initial moment, Bulma saw Goku as an innocent and savage boy, someone completely oblivious to the civilized world. For her, he was almost like a child who needed to be guided, naive, pure, and without malice. It was impossible to imagine him as a man, as Goku showed no trait of maturity, not even understanding basic concepts about relationships or more complex human emotions. As the adventures progressed, Bulma took on the role of a kind of older sister to Goku. She was the one who taught him about the world, who gave him advice, and often who reprimanded him when he did something foolish. The relationship between them grew around this dynamic, Bulma being the rational mind and Goku the pure instinct and natural strength. She laughed at his innocence, but at the same time felt a genuine tenderness. Deep down, Bulma worried about Goku as if he were a member of her own family. Throughout the entire search for the Dragon Balls, this feeling was reinforced. While Goku faced enemies and challenged the impossible, Bulma watched him with a mixture of pride and incredulity. He was just a boy from the countryside, but he acted with a courage that surpassed any adult she knew. Even so, she saw him as a boy, someone who needed emotional protection and someone to guide him in the real world. But time passed, and Goku began to change. When the young Saiyan grew up, and the World Martial Arts Tournament approached its climax, Bulma noticed something different. That small, innocent boy who walked with the power pole had become a strong, confident, and determined young man. His posture had changed, his voice, his gaze. He was no longer the little boy who didn't understand what a kiss was. Now, he was a grown man with a pure heart, but with a strength and magnetism that no one could deny. Bulma, accustomed to seeing Goku as the little brother she guided, felt a mixture of surprise and curiosity. When she met him again already grown up, she could not hide the shock. It was almost an instant of recognition. The naive boy had disappeared, giving way to someone who exuded power and confidence. And for a brief moment, Bulma felt something she had never felt before in relation to him, a deeper admiration, a different gaze. She has always been a woman with a quick mind and intense emotions, but Goku caught her by surprise. He was completely oblivious to any attempt at flirting, and that made him even more intriguing. While other men approached Bulma with obvious intentions, Goku remained pure and indifferent, which paradoxically made him more fascinating. It was as if he were beyond human comprehension, and that innocence, now combined with the strength of an adult warrior, left Bulma confused about what she felt. During the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, when Goku faced Piccolo Jr., Bulma saw the complete transformation before her eyes. That young man fought with a calmness and intensity that left everyone mesmerized. He was no longer a boy running around the world looking for adventures. He was a man with purpose, with responsibility, and with the weight of the world on his shoulders. And at that moment, Bulma no longer saw a little brother. She saw a man she deeply respected. It is clear that Bulma was already with Yamcha, and her feelings for Goku never crossed the line of respect and admiration. But that didn't stop her from recognizing how much he had become someone different. She herself even admitted jokingly, on certain occasions, that Goku had grown up quite well. It was a light comment, but with a hint of truth, the kind of thing you say when you notice a change that silently stirs your gaze. Deep down, Bulma knew that Goku would never be someone interested in romance. His heart was focused on fighting, justice, and the simple pleasure of living. But this purity was precisely what made him special. Bulma saw something in Goku that she did not see in anyone else, a free, incorruptible soul capable of inspiring even the most skeptical. And for that reason, even without ever having had a romantic involvement with him, there was a unique, almost spiritual connection between them. Over time, life took its course. Goku married Chi-Chi, and Bulma continued with Yamcha, at least for a period. But the memory of that reunion, when she saw him grown and powerful for the first time, remained alive in her mind. It was not romantic love, nor desire. It was a silent acknowledgement that that boy she had found in the forest had become a man who would change everyone's destiny. Even in Dragon Ball Z, this dynamic still existed subtly. Bulma never stopped caring about Goku, never stopped reprimanding him when he did something irresponsible, but now there was a mature, almost reverential respect. She knew that in terms of power and spirit he was someone incomparable. Even so, The human part of her, the woman who saw him grow up, never stopped feeling that special affection that transcended simple friendship. Bulma's gaze toward Goku evolved along with time. The naive boy she guided became the symbol of strength and hope, and she, who once saw him as a brother, now saw him as a man worthy of admiration. Goku's transformation was not just physical, it was emotional and spiritual, and for Bulma, who knew him from the first day, it was impossible not to feel the weight of this evolution. In the end, the story between Bulma and Goku is one of the purest and most human in Dragon Ball. It began with curiosity and chaos, went through friendship, and ended in respect and genuine affection. Bulma was the first person to believe in Goku and also the first to see that that naive boy would one day be the greatest warrior the universe ever knew. And when she saw him as a man, she finally comprehended the greatness of what he had become. At the end of classic Dragon Ball, after Goku won the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament and announced that he was going to marry Chi-Chi, Bulma was silent for an instant. No one noticed, but something stirred within her. It was a bittersweet sensation, joy at seeing the little boy she knew achieve so much, but also a pang of regret. She looked at Goku and realized that, if she had been more mature at the time, perhaps things could have been different. Not because she loved him romantically at that moment, but because she saw in him everything she always wanted in someone: loyalty, strength, purity, and sincerity. It was impossible not to miss someone like that, especially when she realized how much he had become a man of worth. Over time, that sensation began to grow. When Goku went away for years to train, Bulma continued with her life, but in moments of silence, she thought of the boy from the forest. Sometimes, she wondered what her life would be like if she had stayed by his side. Goku was different from any other man she met, including Yamcha. He never lied, never betrayed, never put pride above heart. It was impossible not to miss someone like that, especially when she realized how much he had become a man of value. And then came the Namek Saga. Bulma saw Goku in action again, facing cosmic forces, fighting Frieza, surpassing limits that no human could dream of. While watching the events, Bulma felt a strange mixture of emotions. She admired Goku, rooted for him, but there was something more, a nostalgic, almost painful sensation that she had let slip a chance that would never come back. There he was, the strongest man in the universe, but also the purest. Married, faithful, dedicated to his family and friends. And she, Bulma, realized that she would never find anyone like him. No matter how much she tried to convince herself that her relationship with Goku was just friendship, at times Bulma found herself imagining what it would be like to be by his side. What would have happened if she had shown greater interest before? Perhaps Goku would never understand love in the conventional way, but Bulma knew that if he became attached to someone, it would be sincere, immutable. This thought, although fleeting, was enough to make her smile with melancholy. It was the kind of light, silent regret that doesn't hurt profoundly, but remains as a memory of what could have been. Even so, Bulma never allowed that regret to interfere with their friendship. On the contrary, as time passed, the relationship between her and Goku became more solid, more genuine. They understood each other in a unique way. Goku trusted her like few people, and Bulma helped him with everything from repairing ships to preparing strategies. There was an almost familial bond between the two, but different from the old one. Now both were adults, aware of each other's worth, and there was a mutual respect that transcended the past. In a way, Bulma learned to deal with that feeling. She understood that Goku's destiny was never to live a common life, and that perhaps he would never be the kind of partner she idealized. But even so, it was impossible to deny how much he influenced her life. It was Goku who awakened her courage to go out into the world, who inspired her to never give up, who reminded her that the impossible can be achieved. And that is why, even with the regret hidden deep in her heart, Bulma feels only gratitude. Today, many years later, Bulma and Goku continue to be great friends. She welcomes him warmly into her home, laughs at his craziness, and still treats him as part of the family. Sometimes when she sees him next to Chi-Chi and his children, she feels a little ache in her chest, not of jealousy, but of nostalgia. That little boy from the forest became a legendary man, and she, the first person to cross his path, had the privilege of accompanying every step of that journey. And even if the love between them never flourished romantically, Bulma knows, deep down, that the bond they share is something that time can never erase. But comment on what you thought of all this, and don't forget the like. Thank you very much for the support from all of you, and until next time.